Hi, everybody. Welcome to Queers and Soaps. I'm Tommy, and today I'm joined by Angel and Eric.
Screaming Mimi.
We are back for our final Last Blast 2000 podcast. I'll roll the credits and we'll jump right into it.
I'm not.
Were you about to scream again, Eric?
I said I'm not on drugs.
I'm not
It was so funny because they would calm her down, and then she's like, oh, and then she's all talking and stuff, and then Belle like blames her for doing drugs again. She's like, I'm not on drugs. I told you that. And then like, it happened like 3 times. I keep telling you that. Leave me alone.
No, that's not the part that I found funny. I mean, that is a funny part, but that's not the part that I found funny. But we're gonna get to that part where I just kept laughing my ass off.
Me too, mainly at Mimi.
So, Chloe and Philip finish dancing, and she has like a freak
Do they?
out. What?
Do they finish dancing? Wasn't it like the 10-minute?
The first dance.
It was like a 10-minute dance.
To one song.
It wasn't because last we saw they were dancing to my favorite song, "Swear It All Over Again," and then it was a different song. This one.
It was Mandy Moore's "Your Face."
Oh, I didn't even know that was Mandy Moore.
That was Mandy Moore. Yeah, it came from her second album, "The I Want to Be With You" limited edition.
Oh.
So I was like, whoa.
So when did they dance to "I Need You" by LeAnn Rimes?
No, after that.
That was after that.
That was the second dance.
After that, that's.
And why did they dance by themselves multiple times and just everybody watches like fools?
Because I don't know. Because they're the king and queen of the dance. I don't know.
No.
They're not yet.
Not yet.
That was weird.
Maybe this was like the audition to be king and queen of the dance. Because don't they have like a dance competition in 2001 where like Susan dances with Kevin and Jan and Jason?
I hate that they named her Susan, and I'm thinking of the other Susan.
No.
So yeah, so Chloe, now the music hasn't stopped, but they've stopped dancing and they're just kind of like staring at each other, and she like freaks out and runs out of the school. And Belle goes running after her, and Nancy overreacts and is like threatening Philip, like, you better not have hurt my daughter. And Craig's like,
my daughter.
Craig's like being the cool, as we know right now, stepdad. And being like, give her some space, like, don't overcrowd her. And she's like, my daughter needs me. And I'm like, that's not how teenagers work.
Nah.
So then Belle finds Chloe outside, and she's kind of hyperventilating a little bit. She doesn't like all the attention. I'm like, but you do a little bit because you wore that dress for a reason.
Yeah, you kind of want the attention.
You're kind of dramatic.
Yeah, I mean, look, most teenagers, I wouldn't say all teenagers, most teenagers are like that. As somebody who worked with teenagers before.
They want attention, but then when they get it, they're like, oh shit, what do I do with this?
Shit, all this power, all this responsibility.
So Belle is just like, you're just freaking out because you really like Philip, and maybe you should go inside and have fun. And then she sees Nancy, and she switches from being nervous and anxious to angry immediately. Like, what are you screaming at, Nancy? What are you doing here? You're ruining my night. And then Craig has a way of calming her, and he's just like, hey, why don't you just go inside and have fun with your friends? And she's like, okay.
She just does not like Nancy. Nancy does all the wrong things.
And poor Craig, he can't say anything right to Nancy. She like gets angry at him for like trying to tell her to chill.
Right. They get in another fight.
So yeah, so like you guys already mentioned, Sean and Belle keep asking Mimi if she's on drugs. Mostly Belle.
And like every other scene.
Like Mimi's making phone calls from a payphone. And she's like, I gotta have the drugs. And Belle's like, I knew it. You are on drugs. And she's like, I'm not on drugs.
Connor is just sick.
She had to borrow a quarter from somebody because she has no money.
From Sean. After she was like a bitch, she's like, Sean, can I borrow a quarter? And I was like, that's Farrah. That's all Farrah. If you know
I
Farrah,
love
then...
Farrah.
So yeah, they mentioned Connor, which is her little brother, which is a detail that they oddly remembered 7 years later. When Connor comes back all grown up.
Yep.
They never mentioned her older brother that we see, Patrick.
Patrick, yeah.
Like he just appeared.
I love him.
And I don't know if they mentioned her mom's name yet, but her mom's name is Maureen.
Maureen, yep.
Bonnie later. But
Right.
we can kind of rationalize that Bonnie's a nickname for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they totally changed like who the father was. Like in this, for the homeless story, it was like he was laid off from his job and bills just started piling up. But later when it's Bonnie, it's like he abandoned them.
Right.
Later we find out he was dead because he was molesting Mimi. Is that what happened? Or abusing Mimi?
That's I remember that. I think I remember that. Yeah, wait a minute.
Because that was like Farrah's
I remember.
story, that they found bones in the basement and it was her father's bone. Oh no, in the backyard and it was her father.
Mhm.
And that's why Bonnie went to jail for like 10 years before Ron Carlivati brought her back. Because she took
that's
the
so
rap
funny.
from Mimi.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yes, that's Mimi's whole story, minus Rex.
Minus Rex.
So yeah, Jan and Jason are still sneaking around, and Sean and Belle are trying to figure out what they're up to. Jan seems more like she doesn't know if they should go through with it, and Jason's just like, fuck Chloe, fuck that bitch. Like, not one of us.
Yeah. And he doesn't like how Philip's acting and all that. It's like he
No.
likes her. What's wrong with him?
So then I Need You comes on, and Philip's like, oh, I love this song. I'm like, do you?
For 12.
This is the song you love? And they dance for like 20 minutes. So I Need
For
You
like
on
20 minutes.
And it was like
cycling it back to the middle
Right.
of the song.
right?
right. It was.
And
not
then every
like a
time
good
it comes on,
edit.
it just still my ice. I'm like, this can't be. It has to be over. It has to be over because they go toward the end of the song. And they go back in the middle of the song. Then I start laughing again. Then I start laughing again. Keep in mind, I'm at work doing this, so watching this. So I'm like, what is going on? Like, how can you extend a 3-minute song to 20 minutes?
I know. Their song editing is not good for the
No, it
for the
isn't.
show.
Not at all.
Not at all. For any of the songs.
I did notice during the scene where Belle and Mimi were fighting by the payphone that Oops, I Did It Again was playing.
Yes. Oops.
Yeah.
Did it again.
And then later I heard NSYNC. I think It's Gonna
Yeah.
Be Me.
It's gonna be me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have money. They had money.
Right.
Money.
Yeah.
I was trying to think. I was like, around this time before the dance, were they like keeping it low key, trying to save money for the dance for the budget?
Because I remember the only other song I remember that was like a top 40s hit that played on Days of Our Lives before Last Blast was "Crushed" by Jennifer Page.
Oh yeah.
Which celebrated the anniversary. I'm
Yeah.
old.
Yeah.
And then had Carrie. Now this is how it works.
Weren't they in the backseat of a car and Crush was
No,
playing?
they so Carrie and oh my gosh, what was his name?
Mike?
Mike. Yes, Carrie and Mike were in the car. Carrie was dancing and singing to the song "Crush," and you could tell it was a green screen. So
Oh yeah.
just
Yeah.
like the economy, you paid all this money for a song you can't afford. Realistic.
And Sean and Belle danced to an Enrique Iglesias song.
By Lamont.
Yes. No.
Yeah.
It was All I Need.
All I Need.
All
Yeah.
I need.
Oh, yes.
is looking
I didn't think it was
good.
Balamos. No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't Balamos. I thought it
They
was
sound
Balamos.
similar.
beginning
They all
too.
sound similar.
They all sound similar.
not a-
Yeah.
I'm not an Enrique fan.
They all sound similar, but yeah, I'm not a huge Enrique fan, but I do like both of the songs on that album.
But it was like memory, like nostalgic memory unlocked because I'm like, oh, I forgot about this song.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I forgot about it too.
I probably knew that Mandy Moore song back then, and I'm just like, what?
I have that album.
So yeah, Sean and Belle danced to Enrique Iglesias, and all I could focus on was because Kirsten Storms is very tiny. Her very, very, very chunky heel to make her taller.
Oh, they're coming back.
Are they? Chunky heels are
Yeah,
back?
the flared pants, the chunky. I have a chunky heel like in my room. I haven't worn it yet just because like I don't want to fall on my ass at work. But
I did notice the butterfly clips, like the little twisties
yes,
in their hair. I was very of that time.
There's a Instagram account that has like old magazines.
Mm-hmm.
Like from old teen magazines from like the late 90s, and I looked through them. I'm like, oh, I remember all those fashions and stuff like that. Oh, Last Blast, everything.
So they have the announcement of who the king and queen of the dance are, and surprise, surprise, it's Philip and Chloe.
Really? I didn't know that.
I guess they did the dance with Sean and Belle to like kind of make you think there's a possibility it could be somebody else.
But they said that they had that the ballots had already closed by the time they started dancing.
Oh, right. Because Mimi was like, I'm definitely voting for you. And Sean was like, the ballot's already closed. And she's like, damn it. I was like,
I guess they just wanted people to remember.
Maybe if you weren't on drugs, you would have voted.
That proto Last Blast.
Oh, yeah. The fake Last Blast. The first blast.
The fake first one, yep.
And before that, I think Mimi stormed off again.
Yeah.
Before the king and queen were.
Yeah, because Belle was like, maybe if you weren't on drugs, you would have voted on time. She's like,
I'm not on drugs.
Yeah, so Philip and Chloe win, and Mimi's kind of eyeing Jason and Jan because she overheard them talking about doing something.
Mm-hmm.
But she's watching them, but she's kind of unbothered. She's just like, whatever, they won, who cares?
Yeah.
But Sean is eagle eyes on Jason, and he sees him hiding behind the streamers, and I guess Jan walks by and looks up, so Sean looks up and he sees the bucket. Now, I flip-flopped over this over the last 20-something years. Was it really chicken blood? Like, because that's gross. Or was it just red, like, syrup or paint? I mean, I'm sure for production it was, like, corn syrup, like they use in horror movies.
Yeah.
But, like, was it really chicken blood? It's very, like, gross.
Well, they did leave a chicken head.
They did.
Yeah, they want you to think that these people are diabolical, which turns out that one of them is. And
that's gross.
Yeah.
Harry. And
they're clearly referencing Carrie. So
yeah,
I would say I think they went there.
Which was pig's blood.
Yeah.
Because I think in Carrie they actually had a scene where they went to the farm and like slaughtered the pig and
I like that it actually went up Philip though instead of Chloe. That was a nice twist.
See, I always thought it was just like, I don't know, not blood, just something colored red, because of the texture of it. It looked like gooey on him. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. They're all saying chicken blood. I'm just like, ugh. I'm just thinking about like salmonella and all other diseases.
Well, I mean, I'm sure it probably was supposed to be, but
yeah. My adult brain can't let it go. I'm just like, ugh, it's so gross.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Sean manages to like grab Chloe by her tiny waist and like swoop her off the stage. And Philip's like, fuck, that's my queen. And then he gets hit with the blood.
And then it pauses and goes, yeah, that's me. Probably wondering how this happened.
Yeah. That would be if it was a primetime show. It would like start with that, and then it would be like 24 hours earlier, and we would like work up to that. So I guess Philip knows that Jason and Jan are behind this because he immediately is like, Jason, I'm gonna kill you, and he like runs after Jason.
Runs after Jason. Like the principal didn't see this, who we do see a principal. I don't know where he was all the other times that we saw this one.
So.
Yeah, right.
Even back then, these are the moments where I was just like, ugh, I'm not like, I like Belle. I was just never like a huge like Belle stan. I don't like it when she's all like saccharine sweet, and she was like, "Oh my God, Chloe! Like, I can't believe something like this would happen at Salem High. Like, we're so sorry." I'm just like, "Shut up!
Shut up! You're not the representative."
I'm not watching Seventh Heaven."
Yeah, like she speaks for the whole class. Yeah,
yeah.
that was annoying.
But she, like, whenever she has moments like that, I'm just like, "Shh." That's why I always like Chloe, because she was dark and moody.
Belle, take it down. Enough. Let's take it down, Belle, because you're gonna be worse than this leader.
I just have to say this. I don't want it. Don't come after me, Sean and Belle fans. But I just have to tell you why they're not my favorite couple. Because they were always promoted as like the next Bo and Hope, and they didn't deserve it, honestly.
Ooh.
Because they did not go through everything Bo and Hope went through.
Yeah,
theirs was like high school. They tried it with the whole Tropical Temptation and Jan, and and they became a super couple in their own right.
Yeah.
But to say that they were the next Bo and Hope, I would venture to say the first year at least, Ben and Sierra were the next Bo and Hope before she became her life was just all about Ben. But that first year, they had potential, and that's my soapbox. Don't kill me.
I'm not a Ben and Sierra fan at all. And
I was the first year.
Belle and Sean, I'm not specifically a fan of them as a couple. I do now, but like,
yeah.
I feel that they should be always on the show and never fired, because I feel like they're an very important today's history.
Yeah, I believe they belong
on the show.
Yeah, I believe they belong on the show. I want them together. I'm so sick of the whole whenever Philip comes around, Belle's like a little hoe and she has to.
So it's like my man.
But yeah, I just need them to be a stable couple and deal with stories together, not separate.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my little.
I hope with the new writers that come in, because then they really write for them in. Well, it's one of them that Paula Quigley. Didn't she really write for them like when they were younger?
Yes, she wrote Cassie and Rex. So
I know.
Cassie.
I know. I'm prepared for them to come back.
We ain't seen Cassie.
Probably a recast, because I think Alexis Thorpe is like retired from acting now.
Yeah, I'm thinking we'll get a new Cassie.
Probably a real estate agent like everybody else.
And I think I may have tweeted this. I actually wouldn't mind if they did Rex and Chloe, just to do like the visual breed, like old school Brady and Chloe.
Oh no!
Not
We're not having people singing in parks anymore.
They can't
afford to sing in parks.
Yeah,
good.
They can't afford to pay them to sing.
Yeah, Rex only comes back for like here and there.
Yeah, he comes back for like 2 weeks and then he disappears again.
I kind of want Mimi to come back, but they would have to recast her, and then like kind of.
They could use the one they used in the digital series for Mimi.
Yeah, I liked her.
Yeah, I liked her.
So where are we? Oh, so after Belle's like, I'm so sorry, Chloe. Chloe was just like, I can't believe that somebody would do this. I'm just like, really? Come on. Jan and Jason. You can't believe this.
Right.
You knew Jan and Jason since kindergarten. Come on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least Jan. I'm not sure about Jason.
So then, Belle sees Mimi and Jan talking, so she thinks Mimi had something to do with it also.
Yeah.
And then Jan's being a bitch, and she like bumps into Mimi, and she's like, "Ew, move, loser!" And then she's like, "You're calling me a loser?" And then they get into it, and Mimi slaps Jan.
Yes.
And Belle's like, "It's because she's on drugs. I'm not on drugs." And she leaves.
I did like Jan's like, we need to get you some soap and water because you need a bath or something.
Yeah. So Belle and Sean go to run after her, and they're like, "Are you okay, Chloe?" And Chloe's like, "I'm done with this dance," and she like throws her crown down, and they all run after her. And then they're kind of lurking because they see her talking to a guy who we've seen before. This was the guy that I questioned if he was trying to get her to sell drugs or be a prostitute. Here it sounds like he's trying to get her to sell drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she reiterates, "I would never, ever, ever do drugs or sell them to my friends. Ever, ever." So Belle's like, "Oh wow, she's not on drugs."
That's okay.
And they accused her for the past 3 months.
Actually, Chloe's like, "I guess I was wrong. She's not on drugs."
I also like that Jen called them, who was it? Belle, Sean, and Chloe, Larry, Curly, and Mo. 'Cause Jen has some good lines. She really does.
We're probably the last generation that would get that reference.
Yeah, right.
So they continue to follow her and they're like, oh, she must be going home. And then Belle's like, wait, she just walked by her house. And Chloe's like, oh, and there's like a foreclosure sign out front. And they continue to follow her. And we go to like a cardboard box. And Mimi's mom is there, played by Robin Riker. And her sick brother, who she brought cookies to from the dance. And Mimi's like, nobody can know, like, we're living like this. Because, the mom's like, we got to bring him to a hospital. Like, he's getting worse. His fever's not breaking. And she's like, we can't because then people are going to know. And Belle's like, we already do, Mimi. And she's like,
that's the end.
And that's the end.
The end.
But also on Philip's end, he chases Jason out, punches him, gets blood all over his shirt. They basically just like, we need to stand a united front so none of us get in trouble for this. And Jason kind of picks on him for possibly liking Chloe. And Philip's like, what are you talking about, Chloe? I said Belle. He's like, you also said cool girl.
And he also says, you're very much a part of this. You're very much a part of this too, Philip.
Yeah. I think he mentions the bet.
Yeah.
And then he goes inside, and Philip's just like, I hope we catch whoever did this. And the principal's like, oh, we're going to. Yeah. They never.
Yeah, sure. You're useless principal, Mr. Man.
Spoiler alert.
I forgot the principal's name, honestly, because they mentioned it a few times.
Yeah.
But I forgot. I don't.
I remember Mr. Woods. I remember Mr. Woods, their teacher, that went on the Temptation Island trip with them.
Oh, yeah.
Because he actually came back for the reunion in 2007, which I thought was cool that they got him.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. I think that's a good place to end because then going forward, it's dealing with Mimi's homelessness.
Habitat for Humanity.
The Habitat for Humanity.
Yeah.
Nancy inadvertently during a press conference because she's trying to get like publicity for the hospital, and Craig, as chief of staff, invites them to come live with them, which pisses Chloe off because now living at her house.
I forgot about that.
Oh, I did too. Good
And
stuff.
throughout those months, Mimi and Nancy actually kind of bond, which makes Chloe jealous, which makes her lash out at Nancy.
Mm-hmm.
I do remember that. Yeah, I haven't watched this stuff in a long time.
Yeah. There is like maybe a couple more scenes where Chloe goes back to the school to get her, I don't know, cloak or something. I don't know. And her and Philip are in the hallway. He's changed. He's all cleaned up. And they almost kiss, but Nancy comes in and like interrupts the moment. And Chloe's just like, and she like runs off.
Nancy.
But that's pretty much it. That was the last blast.
Yes.
So what do we think? Was it nostalgic? Did you like
For sure.
transport back to
Yeah.
2000?
Especially the music.
Yeah.
Like, I love that they were able to afford so much music from around that time.
Yeah.
There's
I
just
just love
music
it.
editing is terrible.
I just love it because it's literally the story that drew me in to start watching soap operas pretty much, because I never watched the daytime soap regularly till then. I did kind of dip into Sunset Beach because I thought Eddie Cibrian was hot, and I was like, oh, his dimples.
So did Leanne Rhymes.
Yeah.
And she still does. They're still married to this day.
And when Passions had started, because it was a summer, I had tried to watch it. But because I don't know, like I've said this before, I'm very much tell me what you are before, but don't switch it up midway. They didn't promote it as Supernatural. So
They didn't.
Here I'm thinking, oh, I'm gonna get in on a new soap opera from the beginning, and it looked Sunset Beach-esque because there was like a lot of beach promos. And then I'm like, why is this woman levitating? And I was just like, I don't know about this show. And then like Timmy, I was like, why is this doll alive? Like, what am I watching?
The only reason why I knew it was Supernatural wasn't because of the promos. It was because of the
website.
No, not the website. NBC 10, which is me and Eric's local NBC. they had like a little spot on it, and they mentioned the witch, and then I saw like and then mentioned the witch. There was like a part that wasn't really included in like the show where like Tabitha laughs and then it's thunder and lightning and everything like that.
Yeah, so I didn't like that because it didn't. I went in and it was something completely different, and I was like, I don't know about this. Now I appreciate it for what it was.
I'm surprised Passions lasted longer than Sunset Beach, because I feel like Sunset Beach had like
because NBC
really strong, but they had really good strong storylines.
No, so Sunset Beach owned. NBC owned Sunset Beach to an extent.
Yeah,
but
I
it
think
was really popular overseas.
Yeah, like, and Sunset Beach didn't have the ratings. They didn't have the demo.
They didn't have the ratings,
because Passions also had a good time slot, 2:00. Like, I literally, if I ran, I would only miss maybe the first 5-10 minutes of Passions, which on Passions is nothing. Because they had scenes that would last like a month.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you for joining us for our final edition of the Last Blast 2000. We'll come back and do 2001, maybe in the spring around prom season. That way we can cover Temptation Island over the summer next year. We're already planning for next year.
Yeah. Get tempted. I'm not gonna say it a lot sexually. I'm just gonna say get tempted.
Yeah, I gotta find those promos where everybody was like,
yeah, so good.
Yeah, I remember.
Whereas when I was a teenager, I was like, oh, this is some shit right here. I hate it. But now I'm like, yes, get tempted, guys, get tempted.
All right. Well, as always, you can find us on all the socials at Queers and Soaps. And until next time, have a great night. Bye.
Bye.